What's good, y'all? I'm here with another video, and today we're gonna be reacting to WrestleMania. 10 regrets WWE wrestlers admitted to. Um, Hopefully this is a good video. Shout out WrestleMania, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to them. Link will be in the description. And let's get into it, man.
Pro wrestlers, particularly those who have had successful runs in WWE,
Kratos.
often like to reflect on their careers. In interviews, documentaries, and autobiographies, wrestlers have been known to speak out about regrets they've had about their time in the squared circle. These regrets can come from accepting a lackluster booking decision, or even can relate to the way the specific wrestler handled themselves behind the scenes. Join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the biggest regrets of WWE wrestlers. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, WrestleMania Shorts.
Shout out WrestleMania.
Number 10, JBL, his behavior towards Mauro Ranallo. Mauro Ranallo becoming the voice of SmackDown was a huge deal.
I heard
He
about
was a
this.
huge fan of the WWE product, and he instantly turned into one of the most popular and acclaimed.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I miss Mauro Ronaldo, y'all. I miss him. Like, imagine imagine this bloodline feud with Mauro Ronaldo. Oh my god, bro. People already talk about the bloodline feud already, but imagine if Mauro Ronaldo was calling these matches, bro. Crazy, bro. Like, he's a big reason. He's a big part of the reason why NXT was good and SmackDown 2016 was so good. He's not the number one reason, but he's a big part of the reason as to why those shows were so fun, bro. And like, he's literally in my top three. It's JR, King, and him. So the fact that he not there, man, it kind of like, I kind of lost interest in that too, because he was just so good at doing his job, bro.
Commentators WWE ever had. Unfortunately, Ranallo had a shaky relationship with his SmackDown commentary partner JBL, and this reportedly led to Ranallo taking a leave of absence from WWE and eventually joining the NXT brand as their lead commentator. Ranallo's close friend Bass Rutten claimed that JBL was excessively bullying him, and whilst Ranallo claimed his issues in WWE were nothing to do with JBL, several stories of JBL's prior antics surfaced, which certainly didn't present the former champion in the most positive manner.
I heard JBL always been a dickhead though. Like, it's just in his nature. Maybe that's why the character was so good. It was natural to him.
JBL would later come forward during an interview on the Rick Bassman Talking Tough show and stated that he deeply regrets anything he said to Ranallo that may have caused distress. I did a rant on the show about, they're calling Mauro the number one announcer. He's retweeted it, blah blah blah. 100% in character, and people talk about that poll that I was so jealous of that poll that I went on TV and talked about it. That was just me being JBL on camera, and I think Mauro took that the wrong way. I hope he realizes now that that was something that I did that was 100% in character. JBL would also state that he informed Mauro directly that he regrets about how he handled the situation. I walked across the parking lot and he was on his phone, so I couldn't talk to him, but I shook his hand. Just went across and shook his hand, and he said, "How you doing, man?" I said, "It's good, brother," and just left. Just to let him know that there was no ill intent, at least of me towards him. I regret the whole situation. I wish that Mauro had known for sure. Number 9, Chris Jericho not wrestling Macho Man Randy Savage. Throughout his legendary career, Chris Jericho has wrestled virtually every major name imaginable. From past icons such as Hulk Hogan and The Rock to modern greats such as John Cena and Randy Orton.
Wow.
However, one wrestler that Jericho never got to have a featured match against was Macho Man Randy Savage. And this is something that Jericho regrets about his career. In a tweet in June of 2023, Jericho stated, "Man, I wish I would have gotten to work with Randy, one of my heroes for sure." Jericho versus Randy Savage would have been an epic feud, and it's a massive shame that we never got to see it take place. Randy Orton not showing the
But is it because he didn't get the chance to, or is it because he had potential to do it but he denied it? You can't. I wouldn't say you should regret things that you can't control. You know what I mean? But I definitely understand where he's coming from. I heard about this too, this Randy Orton one too, and I think it was the WWE Evil documentary or one of those Randy documentaries.
WrestleMania 21 rehearsals. And during Randy Orton's early days in WWE, he had a ton of personal problems that unfortunately filtered into his attitude and behavior as a top WWE star. In 2005, Orton was given the opportunity of a lifetime as he was set to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania
It's still a
21.
good match.
Only a
It's a good
select few
match.
stars have been given this huge honor, and Orton, due to his personal issues, decided to outright miss the planned rehearsal for his match with the Dead Man. In a 2020 episode of WWE Untold, Orton admitted how much he
Yeah,
regretted missing the planned rehearsal. Let's just say I got into a little trouble, didn't get much sleep, just in case my kids are watching.
he
Keep
was
in
getting
mind, this
drunk,
is my second
partying.
WrestleMania. I'm 24. I'm being given the world. My dad is there. Taker's there. I got down.
Right, because think about it. His first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 20, I believe. And he faced The Rock and Mick Foley. And now you're facing The Undertaker? Bro, you tripping, bro.
There just as they were finishing up and they were walking out. I'm working with The Undertaker for a year, and it all started off with me missing rehearsal for the biggest match of the year. The multi-time WWE champion stated, "A lot of my people may have opinions about me early in my career, but nobody considers myself more of an asshole than I do. So
Yeah.
Take, if you're watching, thank you for not bitching me out, cursing me out, and chokeslamming my ass to hell after I missed that rehearsal. That's probably one of my biggest regrets in the business, letting you men down that night." Number 7, Kane, the half haircut. One of
Oh
the
yeah,
most
that
shocking
was
moments of the Ruthless Aggression era saw the unmasking of Kane. This
that was
allowed the Kane
disgusting.
character to develop even further, as Glenn Jacobs believed that the masked version of the demonic character had grown stale. Whilst Jacobs was all in favour of removing the mask, he wasn't anticipating keeping the unkempt, half-shaved head look.
Yeah, that's so
The Hall of
nasty.
Famer would discuss his one regret from this memorable segment with Stone Cold Steve Austin. "I actually was a little nervous though, because I hadn't told my wife about this, and my wife loved my long hair, and I wanted to see it and be shocked just like everybody else, and she was. So when I talked to her after the match, that didn't go very well, and they get about halfway through, and Bruce Pritchard goes, 'Stop, I need to show Vince.' I should have said, right then, keep going, and of course, in the heat of the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. And then yeah, I'm sitting there like, wait a
Wait a
second, I gotta go
second.
look like Outback with this. I gotta go pick my kids up at school." Number 6, Seth Rollins, the reunion of The Shield. Well, The Shield were
Which one?
immensely popular during their initial run, and when WWE disbanded the stable in 2014, it seemed like a certainty that they would eventually reform the group in years to come. This eventually happened in 2017, and whilst the reunion was a success, it didn't feel the same, and the magic had been
Right.
somewhat lost.
Right.
One of the major issues with the reunion was that WWE had failed to create a compelling rival for the group, and they were facing a randomly put together collection of stars. WWE attempted the reunion once again in 2018, but at this point it was clear that fans were fine with the three main events.
I think the situation with that was because yeah, there was really no direction for the Shield, and I felt like people kind of, well, me, I don't know of other people, but I kind of figured that like they kept reuniting the Shield because Roman wasn't getting over, and they wanted to have some way of making him like get cheered instead of booed all the time. And this was kind of like the only time that he would actually be getting cheered for real, for real. Otherwise, if he's getting booed out of his mind. Also, they didn't know what to do with Dean, and they was just like, all right, we're gonna put these guys together. We know we're gonna get some money out of that, new merch, new everything, you know. So it's kind of like the DX situation that you kept bringing DX back. So it's like it ain't gonna hit the same as the first time, but you know, maybe when John comes back, maybe, maybe.
As having their own unique storylines. It wasn't just the WWE fans who felt like the Shield reunions didn't hit the mark. As Shield member Seth Rollins has spoken at length about his regrets with the reunions, and Rollins went into detail during an interview with Bleacher Report. "I guess one regret would be managing some of the reunions a little bit better. Some of that was out of our control and there was nothing we could do. It's not
Mm-hmm.
ideal to have Kurt Angle in a Shield costume, but
Right.
desperate times call for desperate measures. So we made the best of it, and there's something to be said for putting people in that role and being able to have the equity to do that." Number 5, Triple H not facing The Rock at WrestleMania 16. The feud between Triple H and The Rock was one of the standout feuds of the
Wait, which? Oh, WrestleMania 16 is WrestleMania 2000. I didn't need to pause it. I'm sorry, yo.
Attitude Era, and the two should have collided in the main event of WrestleMania 16. Instead, though, WWE booked a McMahon in every corner fatal four-way match, which involved the Game, The Rock, Big Show, and the seemingly retired Mick Foley. The match failed to meet WrestleMania main event standards, and WWE eventually booked the match for Backlash in 2000 in what turned out to be an utter classic. Whilst appearing on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, he discussed his regrets in WWE, and this led to the game discussing how much he regretted not facing the Great One in the main event of WrestleMania 16. Triple H even stated that he wishes he and The Rock collided in an Iron Man match on the grandest stage. My
That would
only
have been
regret of
hard.
the whole thing with The Rock is in
Or
2000
three stages
we
of
were
hell.
poised to have a match at WrestleMania 1-on-1. I think that would have been an epic thing for both of us in that moment. The timing of Taker's return and Austin's return, and Austin wasn't quite ready yet, so they pushed the WrestleMania match. A
Right.
couple of months later, we would have the one-on-one Iron Man match that we wanted to have at WrestleMania. Unfortunately for me, I just feel that's the one thing we got to this unbelievable heated long-term rivalry and then never got a payoff on the biggest platform possible. Number 4, Stone Cold
What about not not putting Booker T over at WrestleMania 19? But that's another story for another time.
Steve Austin not wrestling Brock Lesnar. In one of the most infamous walkouts in WWE history, Stone Cold Steve Austin decided to no-show an episode of Raw in 2002 when he was booked to lose to Brock Lesnar. Austin had zero issues with putting over the young star, but he believed that the match should have been built up and then Austin would do the honors. Austin
Right.
has talked time and time again about his regrets when it comes to the way he handled this situation. He would even mention in his Hall of Fame speech, so it was evidently bothering the WWE legend years after the walkout. Whilst Austin clearly holds a lot of tender feelings towards the 2002 incident, Lesnar has never seemed to remotely care about Austin failing to put him over. While some wrestlers would
He
hold
don't
a grudge,
remember.
this isn't the type of human being that Lesnar is, and thankfully, Lesnar and Austin have maintained a healthy friendship for almost 2 decades now. Number 3, The Undertaker not wrestling Andre the Giant. Since retiring in 2020, The Undertaker has given endless public interviews about his life and career, and in one specific interview with Ariel Helwani,
Is Andre
the
still
dead man
there?
stated that one of his biggest regrets is that he never got to wrestle Andre the Giant. When I came in, he was right there at the end, and he was working
Right.
just a little bit. His
Right.
knees and back were really, really bad. But he always had this idea, The Undertaker said. I'd come into the dressing room and I say, "Hey boss, how you doing today?" And he would say, "Oh good kid, one day me and you will make big money." I was like, "Really boss?" He goes, "Yeah, I've got a good idea." I said, "Oh well, let me hear about it." No, no, no. He was so old school, like he would never tell me. I never got to work with him. That is a huge regret. I would have loved to just be in the ring with Andre.
I feel like that would have been cool.
John Cena, retrospective hypocrisy. One of the main focal points in the rivalry between Cena and The Rock was Cena's consistent references to The Rock's ventures in Hollywood. Cena was of the belief that The Rock abandoned WWE in favor of Hollywood, and he was extremely critical of The Rock's mishaps in the movie
Makes sense.
industry. Fast forward to a decade after the feud, and Cena himself has semi-retired and is now a big name in the movie industry. Naturally, fans have called out Cena's hypocrisy, but Cena himself has admitted the total hypocritical behavior. He would reflect on this during an appearance on the Happy Sad Confused podcast,
Yeah,
saying,
he's talked about this
"I
a
got
good amount of
selfish in me
times.
living in WWE at the point and not having any concept of growth or someone else's perspective. I took Dwayne's comments about the business as not genuine. He said, my view was that if you love something, be there every day. Like, what a hypocrite I am, because I still love WWE and I can't go all the time. And I just didn't see that. I was so selfish. Instead of going like, hey man, I'd like to try to do this thing to hook you back in and maybe we can collaborate and really make it big, I was just like, F this, I'm calling this dude out.
He
This is a
gaslighted
moment.
him.
You give me an opening, I'm gonna kick the door in. And I
He
was
gaslighted
diligent,
him.
and I understand why he got upset.
I think with this is so with the Rock situation and Cena, because of this feud and him being hypocritical, it's a continuous cycle now. So literally, The Rock did it. Cena called him out. Now Cena's doing it. Roman called him out for doing it. It's gonna be a continuous cycle. Once Roman is semi-retiring, he's gonna go to Hollywood, and then they're gonna bring up a new star to call him out the same way. Then it's gonna be a continuous cycle, and it's bringing more wrestlers to the entertainment business outside of just wrestling, because the Attitude Era was already like a big thing that was like kind of like worldwide in like the media and everything. So now it's even more in the media with social media and stuff. So there's gonna be more and more wrestlers in like movies and stuff like that. So it kind of worked.
At number 1, Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement.
Oh, the second
Shawn
time.
Michaels had the perfect retirement in 2010. He retired in a classic match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26, but
Beautiful
8 years
match.
later, HBK made the controversial decision to come out of retirement. He would team with Triple H to take on Taker and Kane at the Crown
The match
Jewel
was
event.
trash.
And the match itself received widespread criticism, and fans were incredibly disappointed that HBK would come out of retirement for an easy payday. In the years that followed, he's
I feel like if he was gonna come out of retirement, he should have just fought AJ Styles. You know what I mean?
been critical of the match, and HBK would be asked by the New York Post if he regrets accepting the match. This is what he had to say. I do. I had no idea that from Mark's standpoint he was looking at, as that might be one he could walk away on. That's something that I think to myself, oh my goodness, I wish I would have known that. For me, it was fun. It was just a chance to be with my buddies. All I can do is apologize to the guys. Well, there you have it, folks. 10 of the biggest regrets of.
Well, that's the end of the video, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Shout out WrestleMania. Link will be in the description. I'm out, man.